Hello everybody, I'm JS Pitcher, creator of Wasteland Free Radio and the voice of the Lone Transmitter. I just wanted to say hi and invite all of you to check us out on Patreon. Over there you'll find bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes content, episode commentaries, and an exclusive mini-series, The Tracks. You can become a paid patron or you can follow us for free, whatever you would like. Just show up and tell Weatherbot95 you say hi. Thanks for supporting the show in whatever way you can. It means a lot. Okay, enjoy Season 2, Episode 3, Update, Unknown. Rumors of a walking corpse outside the city limits, and local authorities are about to receive the biggest update of their artificial lives. I'm your host. You can call me the Lone Transmitter. And coming to you live from Yellow Brook City, you're listening to Wasteland Free Radio. Well, the mayor always takes our suggestions into consideration when he makes changes to the local authorities program. He always has. But there is one Yellow Brook resident who doesn't believe it, and he is making a lot of noise. No, it's not Anime Fan 29. He might be annoying, but I promise he's harmless. It's Dr. Professor Elux. You see, Dr. Professor Elux has petitioned local authorities, or I guess petitioned the mayor to petition local authorities to increase the power to the protective dome tenfold to better protect us from the incoming zombie horde. Let me start out by saying that I think that would be unnecessarily cruel, because the protective dome already keeps a bunch of things out. I don't know how it works, but I've heard it described as a psychic deterrent field, and that sounds really scary. So we call it Protective Dome. The field is about 1 click wide, and it's just energy, so you can't see it. But when you get close to it, you know it's there. It keeps out unwanted raiding parties, roach wasps, and since it seems to affect the central nervous system, it works on all your basic zombies. I still don't like saying the word. I just don't. It's like shouting fire in an abandoned theater. It doesn't actually matter, but it's a habit. I just don't like doing it, you know. So, the psychic deterrent field, Protective Dome. You don't notice it at first, but you start sweating. You go a little further, and you just can't seem to catch your breath. So you stop, you take a swig of water, and it tastes different. Your stomach reminds you of the last time you drank tainted water, and you realize you're pretty far from home, and you're not sure if anyone can find you. Your breathing gets harder. You're reminded of other stupid decisions you've made. Why would you cross the Radlands alone? Why would you try this? Who do you think you are? Why are you out here? You're about to die. What are you thinking? You can't make it. You're dying. And you deserve it. Your only hope is to turn and run, coward. So no, I don't think we should increase the power to the protective dome because the psychic deterrent field is already strong enough to make someone as normally chipper as myself drop to the deepest depths of darkness and despair. Alliteration is not my strong suit, I'm sorry. Besides, I don't actually think there's a zombie horde trying to get into the city. There's a rumor of 1 walking corpse at the city limits. 1 walking corpse does not mean we're being invaded by an army of the undead. There's a normal, rational explanation for that, I'm sure. Now, the protective dome is more than just a psychic deterrent field. You see, it goes all the way around the city and above us, like a dome, and it keeps the ash from all of these volcanoes above our heads to protect us from the sun. It already takes a lot of electricity, and I don't know how much more the generator has to give us. Now keep in mind, the protective dome covers the entrance to the city as well, but we built the Freeman Street Bridge where the psychic deterrent field is at its weakest. So as long as you come in the city off of the Freeman Street Bridge, you probably won't have a rad panic attack. But the field does wreak havoc on cybernetic implants if they are not properly ruggedized, so make sure you are taking care of yourself and make sure those memory cards are properly secured. With everything going on right now, who has time for sports? Well, apparently everybody but me, but especially Rollerbot 3. After last year's victory over New Spring City, you know, the one where she disintegrated the other team, Rollerbot 3 is ready to take our Yellow Brook humans across the river to compete against the Lithium City Chargers. Now, we have a good relationship with Lithium City. They're a proper city with running water everywhere and electricity from an actual power plant, not an electrostatic mutant with an endless well of energy that feeds into our power grid. I've got history with Lithium City, and I would like us to remain on friendly terms after the match. Hopefully Rollerbot 3's killer instincts can take a back seat to good sportsmanship, or sportswomanship, or sports robotic womanship, whatever, you know what I mean. Now, I'm not really sure what happens if we're victorious, because there are no other cities with nuke ball teams. The next closest city to us would be Iron Falls, and they don't have a team. They only have 20 people there. That's not enough for a nuke ball team. And as I've mentioned a few times, Rollerbot 3 disintegrated what was left of New Spring City when we won last year. It's not like they can just come back to life. Redlanders, do you hear that? I think that's the sound of local authorities' boot cycle. If it's anything like last time, they'll send an email with a list of all their intended updates, but it sounds like they're done restarting. I got everyone's request into the mayor's office, but I can't guarantee they'll actually implement them. There's also a slight chance that local authorities will interpret things a little differently than we expected. We don't really know what they're going to do. Oh, here it is. Okay, redacted. Well, this isn't helpful at all. The entire document is blacked out. There isn't a single piece of useful information anywhere in this email. Oh, wait, hang on. There's one update that wasn't redacted. Okay, local authorities have once again renamed our nuke ball mascot because that's definitely important right now. So now we're the Yellow Brook Robots, and while I think the new name is far more accurate than anything else they've come up with, I just can't help but wonder if this is just a distraction, because something else is probably going on. Well, okay, a lot of other things are going on, because I'm looking around at 3 pages of updates, and every single one is blacked out. They even redacted their own letterhead. Like it's a secret. I don't know why I'm surprised that local authorities are largely useless when it comes to actually doing something with these updates. They were first programmed and their servers were first built when planned obsolescence was the name of the game in tech. Nobody built anything to last. And as their internal hardware fails, their ability to compute is further compromised. The mayor is the only person alive who knows how to change the local authorities' program, and he's scheduled to go back into cryo next week. He's not usually taking visitors at this point in his waking process, but maybe I can get some answers before he goes back on ice. Maybe I'll just send him an email. I don't really want to come face to face with him again. It's terrifying and disgusting. Like I've told you before, his skin is kind of melting off and you can see the lower layers of dermis, or whatever it's called, I don't know. I just have to steel myself a little bit before I go to his office, that's all. And maybe bring some nose plugs. That reminds me, there's a good chance the corpse that somebody spotted outside the city limits was just the mayor going out to take a walk or get some air. That's all. I wouldn't worry about it. This is one of the reasons we try not to use the word zombie when it's not an emergency. It's a really easy word to yell, and when you yell it, everybody knows what you mean. But if we had people yelling zombie, zombie, zombie every time they walked past somebody with transparent skin, we wouldn't get anything done, and the word would lose all meaning. So we reserve the Z word for emergencies only. That's all. That's why I'm uncomfortable with it. And some people consider it to be a cuss. I don't, but Weatherbot 95's mom listens to this show, and she's not okay with cussing. I still cuss. She's not my mom.
Max from millions, wares and sundry.
And perhaps the more bizarre news, somebody stole my car. Okay, it wasn't my car, technically, but the beaten-up Chevy Corsica that I use as a dead drop for my dealings with Max and people on the other side of town is gone. It's been rotting and rusting out at the abandoned Little League park for as long as I've been around, and I'm just a little sad that it's gone. I made so many memories in that car. Meeting that family of mutated dogs, countless hours and countless bottles of green iridescent liquid with Max. I even had my first kiss in the back seat of that car. 2 out of 10. Not that it matters. It was all teeth. I'm sure none of you are shocked to learn that, as my tendency to exclusively date cannibals is, well documented. And I still can't explain it. I don't know what to say other than we don't choose who we love. Anyway, my vintage Chevy Corsica, my own little slice of 1990s paradise, is just gone. Max the Millions and I removed the engine and all the other useful components years ago. And gasoline doesn't exactly grow on trees. Sure, the Radlands are weird, but not that weird. There's no evidence of it being dragged away, and I have no explanation for how it could have been removed so quickly and so cleanly. Some conspiracy theorists will probably blame aliens or something, or kaiju chickens coming over and grabbing it with their feet and flying away, but I don't think that's the case. I haven't seen any evidence for either of those situations. So let's just not jump to conclusions. Now, some of you might be saying, "Hey, Lone Transmitter, this is the Radlands and people steal things all the time. Isn't your stepmom a thief too?" Yeah, she is. I don't think it was her. And I've explained this before, and I'm sure I'll explain this again. There's a difference between stealing and scavenging. Now, we actually have laws regarding salvage, and laws aren't exactly enforceable when you don't have law enforcement, but that's actually kind of been fine. Salvage law is mostly just a bunch of guidelines that all of us scavengers kind of put together and we all agree to. Rule number 1, only take half of what you find. Max the Millions has been running her salvage operation for a very long time. She was doing it before I came on the scene, and she taught me a lot of what I know. People say she's a monster and that she's extremely greedy and thinks of nothing but money, but that's not necessarily true. Yes, most everything comes down to price with her, but that's okay. She's a businesswoman. What are you gonna do about that? When Max goes to a salvage job, she'll usually bring 2 or 3 repair bots with her, slowly and methodically take things apart, and only take half of what they find, leaving the rest for us. And when she's done, she will let me know where these salvage opportunities are. She's a wonderful prospector and a team player, and I will have words with anybody who says otherwise. So rule number 1, only take half of what you find. And rule number 2, if the door is locked, then it's locked for a reason. Doesn't mean you can't look for a back door, but I would approach back doors with caution. You never know what kind of booby traps you're going to find. I don't need to get into that again. And remember, these are just guidelines. They're not like really rules. We're not going to do anything to you if we catch you violating them. But rule number 3 is to leave something extra behind if you can. I built my first signal relay with extra parts that somebody left at the robot graveyard. Usually you can find great pieces there anyway, but I found some stuff that just didn't belong there once, and that's when I learned that side of the law. Sorry for the rant on salvage law, but if any of you find a 1990 Chevy Corsica that used to be maroon, I think, can you let me know? Because I kind of miss my car. It's my favorite place to go and be by myself and think, you know? It also happens to be a great place to get to first base. Lingering eye contact. Whew. Is it getting hot in here, or is that just me? Oh, no, right, that's probably just the sun, because it's been turning into a red giant ever since the Great Devastation. I forgot. Are you getting sick of the cold that comes along with nuclear winter? Are you feeling low and tired with the ash cloud keeping the sun from warming and or burning your skin? If you're like me, you'd rather have a cozy night cuddled up with the station beast. But if you're out on the town and want to turn up the heat, you owe it to yourself to check out the High Ground. Situated on the edge of Conan's Crater, the High Ground is simply the hottest club in the Radlands. Hungry? Order a plate of cauterized animal tips or some of Young Ling's baby dumplings. Thirsty? Drink the finest domestic iridescent liquid served as hot as the lava in the volcano below. Every Thursday, the comedy open mic is guaranteed to give your most dramatic and brooding friends the splits. So if the end of the world has gotten you down, or if you're looking to make your hot date even hotter, you've got to get up and go to the High Ground. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's frustrated with Dr. Professor Elux and his wild takes on what we should do here. The guy hasn't been around for long and, well, I guess that's not true. He's been around since before the Great Devastation, but the more I think about it, maybe he was in orbit this whole time in cryostasis. And that's why he seems so oblivious to everything. And with cryo, there's usually some kind of organ failure. Maybe, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but maybe it's his brain? If he was in orbit, which, he was at least in space for a little while, I know there's something called space dementia. I don't know if it's a real thing or not. It kind of sounds like science fiction, but I don't know, it kind of applies. Well, I'm going to try to keep everybody informed as to what is in these updates to local authority systems, but I can't promise anything, and I don't know what to expect here. Taking you out today is The Sugarhold with their song, I'm Fine. I'm the Lone Transmitter, and you've been listening to Wasteland Free Radio, your very last source for news.
Parked up on the couch eating TV shows. Ooh, get 'em moving to the kitchen, making rounds, laying back down, that's how it goes. Sitting in the dark, wasting my time. I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm saying I'm fine. It's time, realize to find you're finally fine. It's time to claim the kind
Thank you, everybody, for listening to Wasteland Free Radio. This episode was written by J.S. Pitcher, and additional writing is being done by You Know Her as Max the Millions, Leo Joylock. Today's retro resequencer was The Sugarhold with their song I'm Fine. Our intro, outro, and background music is by 11D7, and you can find all of these bands in the show notes. If you liked what you heard today, please leave us a review on whatever podcast app you're listening. It helps us show up to other people's searches. Thank you so much. Leave a 5-star review. Yeah, that's the one. And if you crave more post-apocalyptic content, you can head over to our Patreon, where you'll find bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content, things like that. We'd love to see you over there. Thanks again for listening, and remember, once you find a good place for your stash, don't tell anybody else. It's yours.